No, that's not how this goes. This is my show. This is my basement. And we're back.
No features.
Episode 8. Me, myself, and I. No. The trio.
I'll be myself, and you can be I.
I like that play on words. Today we are discussing stress, kind of more tuned towards exam stress, as this is the time that most of our listeners are kind of involved in. Everyone's studying for final exams right now. So we're going to try and display some stress relieving tips of our own, and also we're going to throw out some kind of funny exam questions and funny exam answers to help our viewers kind of relieve their stress, kind of lighten the mood for exams. I think
sounds good.
I think it's going to be a good show. If you have any good funny answers that you can remember that you've given on exams, hit us up at the Startups Podcast at gmail.com. We'd love to hear them. And also go on iTunes and hit us up with a review. And as well, we have a poll up on our Facebook right now where you can rank and rate some features that you would like to see from us, because we're thinking of doing some live streams. Maybe if people want video along with audio on the YouTube videos, all that good stuff's up on there. So go hit up that poll on our Facebook and let us know what you want to see. But to get into it on our show, we're going to kind of just start with our own personal tips for dealing with stress, and then we'll kind of go into our own kind of best and worst finals experiences. So I will start with stress, whereas for me, especially with studying, I just understand that there's no way, it's very ambitious to wake up and say, hey, I'm going to study this subject for 8 hours, but you're not doing it, son. Let's be real. So I always just try and commit, like, let's say you have 4 classes to study for.
Yeah.
I would say, you know what, I'm going to go, I just do 2 hours each class, and that's a full 8 hours of studying in the day. And if you can just buckle down and actually do like a focused 2 hours for each one, it's probably going to be the same amount of actual study time if you were to just sit there and do that kind of like distracted on and off studying, which would probably take you like 12 hours. So kind of coming back to stress is you got to break it up. Try not to just do it in one big haul. Do your 2 hours and then take an hour doing whatever it is for you, and try and, you know yourself better than anyone else. You can understand and know those specific things that you can do to help you relax.
True.
Yeah, when I have stress, and I think there's 2 apparently different ways of dealing with it. Is the first way is you deal with the actual source of the stress, and the other way is you deal with how you respond to it. And I deal with the source of the stress. So whatever it is that's stressing me out, I find a way to fix that. Yeah. So if it's finals or exam stress, I just make sure I do very good. I make sure I'm very prepared for it. So what I'll do is kind of like you, where I like do 2 hours for every subject, except instead of 2 hours, I make a list of things I'm going to do every single day. So if I pull up my calendar right now, you can see how every day has a list of topics, color coded and everything.
I like that.
Of things that I got to do. And then since I scheduled this out ahead of time, as long as I get everything done in the day, I'm on schedule.
Yeah,
so I don't have anything to feel stressed about.
Scheduling definitely makes a big thing, and I kind of do this on my phone. I'll make notes of like to-dos and things I want to accomplish that day. And as long as you bang all those out, you don't have to worry about anything else. Like, you don't have to try and do everything in one day, and like you split it up, so you can just do those 2 things and you're good. You don't have to worry about it like, oh, should I be studying right now? Because you've made time in the coming days that you're going to do it.
Yeah, and it's all about like control, right? If you feel like you're in control, you don't feel stressed. And what scheduling does is it makes me feel in control.
Yeah.
Totally.
Go ahead.
That was so... Well, I don't do any of that because I'm not very good at this apparently. But with for me, it's hard for me to give every course equal study time because I usually don't feel equally comfortable or uncomfortable
Yeah,
in
I guess that's
classes.
true.
So for me, for example, like with math right now, the plan is to do that every day, but that'll cut into time for other classes, but I'm willing to take that, like to put
Yeah.
that time into math.
Your appraisal of that stressor
Yeah,
is a lot higher than the other ones.
exactly.
We have a scientist in our midst here.
Well, I'm going to sound really like on point with this stress stuff, but do not be fooled. I have my stress and health notes out from psychology right now.
Nice.
So that's the only thing. I pulled that cognitive appraisal right from the notes.
Yeah.
So when you identify your classes, I'm going to try and play your role right here.
Okay.
Is you first you look at the demands.
Mhm.
So you're seeing for that class, okay, how demanding is this class? How much do I think I'm going to be able to study?
Yeah.
Or how much I need to be successful on
Yeah.
that test. Then you're going to look at your resources, which are what kinds of personal resources do you have to help you cope?
Mhm.
Do you have that the final prep class that you can go to?
Yeah.
Do you have sufficient notes, practice questions, right?
Textbooks and whatnot.
So already right there, if the demand is really high and then you see your resources are low, you're probably going to be pretty stressed out at this point, right? And then your third part of your cognitive appraisal is going to be consequences. What will happen after the event and how likely do you think these outcomes will happen? So that's kind of
I don't want to think about
where
that
your
part.
personal, your kind of own personal beliefs come into play, where you
Yeah.
could hype up the stress even more or dumb it down where you probably shouldn't. Like you need to have more of a
There needs to
priority
be
on it.
like a healthy amount of stress
Yeah.
for you not to just,
Do
piece
nothing.
it.
It's
Yeah.
true. And I think probably the more accurate you can be on the consequences
Mhm.
and your prediction of the outcome, probably the better. And then number 4, the last part is your personal meaning, how important it is to you personally, which obviously it's fairly important. You want to do well in the exam.
It's like it's personal. Like the meaning for me is not having to take it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't do what I
like
did.
it's not the same as other classes, like with comp sci, where I'm trying to do this and do good in this class and learn it and work on it on the summer and blah blah. With this with this math class, it's just nah, man. I just want to get it done. It's
Yeah.
my last math course.
Ooh.
Let's just bang this out because I'm done.
I know the feeling.
I'm so done.
So would you say when you're kind of coming at a situation of stress or
Mhm.
problem, there's essentially 3 different types of coping strategies that people adhere to.
Okay.
So there's problem focused coping, which Peter kind of identified that he does, right?
Uh-huh.
So you're going to be looking at the problem and coming up with a systematic plan to deal with it. And technically, I think generally it's been shown that this is more common in males.
Mhm.
And then you have emotion focused coping, which is working on getting through some emotions and works best with like chronic problems. So you're preparing yourself to deal with
Yeah,
it when the
yeah.
time comes. And then there's the seeking social support. So you look for others' help. Where would you think that you kind of, I mean, you might be a blend.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it depends on the problem, but
Mhm.
as far as studying for school is concerned, like it's the first one just because the other ones don't really apply to with emotional. It's like doesn't matter, like
Yeah.
that doesn't really affect me a lot.
I mean, it could
And
be
then-
like I'm going to have, my food prepped for me, so I'm not going hungry and getting hangry while I'm
Would
while I'm
that
studying. That'd be
the
kind of emotional.
social one?
That would be emotional because you're
Okay.
kind of prepping yourself to deal with the stressor as you go through.
As I guess I get so tunnel visioned
Hmm.
when I get stressed out.
Yeah.
Like I spent what 2 or 3 days at the university sleeping there working on that one assignment.
Oh, that's right.
And I just like I actually was surprised I went to my other classes because typical me is just zone in and shut everything else out and just bang that one thing out.
Hmm.
So I think over the last couple of weeks, and because of math, because usually if I have an exam last, I deal with it a little bit, and then after my other exams.
That's when you come back to it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but with math, like I think this might be one of the few times that I'm actually doing a good job of allocating my time appropriately, because I know I can't just rush it at that
Yeah,
point.
it's not something you can cram for, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I need to be doing at least one or two questions every 12 hours or something
Yeah.
to stay on top of it. So I'll say the problem solving or problem
Focus coping.
focus one.
And I think that's, I mean, when it comes to schoolwork, that's generally the one you should go with anyway. But you're always going to have a blend. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, where do I fall? Do I seek social? Am I emotion focused, or am I problem focused? Either way, whichever three you think you fall in for that stressor, which is just an event or a stimulus that causes stress for you, it's always important to have really high self-efficacy, which just means that you have a really strong conviction that you have the ability to perform the behaviors needed to cope successfully.
Explain that.
So like you're confident?
Yeah, you have confidence that you have the ability to deal with it. And that's called self-efficacy. And either way,
you don't, like if it's
but
something
if you don't,
that's actually, like you're a first year kid in engineering.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, listen,
I can't do this.
Yeah, that's the control thing, right? You don't have control. If you had control, then you'd be able to handle it.
Yeah, that kind of comes into the external, internal locus of control, which is if you're external, you think you don't, things that happen to you are out of your control.
For example, for people who take classes that have 60% finals.
Right.
And they bombed the midterm.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a little bit more stress
your confidence might lower.
Yeah, like as opposed to, I did okay on the midterm.
Mm-hmm.
I can try my best on this exam, but even if I don't do my very best, I'll still pass.
Right.
As opposed to, I need to be on my A game. I need to not use the washroom once. I need to be completely not stressing out, but the thought of that makes you stress out a little bit more.
I feel like, self-efficacy is almost something you can't teach. But it's also depending on the situation. Like you said, perfect example, you did bad on a midterm and a finals coming up. That's kind of your previous experience playing into whether you think you can do it or not. Right? So it's always kind of, if you look at the event as its own kind of entity, you have to take in your personal experience with dealing with a similar event like that in the past is, what can I do better? What strategies worked for me good in the past, which ones didn't work well for me, all that things kind of play in. And there's a lot of, in terms of studying for tests, there's a lot of psychology phenomenon that comes in called context dependent memory, which is basically just saying that if you're studying or doing a class in a certain room, you should try and study in that same room, be in the same environment as when you were learning that context, and it'll help you recall it easier.
All right, now I got a scenario for you guys. And this is the thing about stress that affects me the most. Let's say it's the night before an exam and you're trying to go to sleep. You can't. What do?
Ooh.
And it's the night of the exam, so you can't really find any sort of medication to take because for all you know, you're going to sleep through your alarm and most of the exam.
That's true. And
that's something that I feel like that's just bound to happen for me, because not once have I, if it's a 2 p.m. exam, sure, like I can sleep and wake up or get woken up, whatever. But if it's a 9 a.m. exam, like I'm not messing around. I've never slept at home for a 9 a.m. exam.
Really?
I always sleep in school.
Really?
Yeah, because I just don't want to risk just the idea or thought of, I missed my, and I've also never had 2 exams on the same day. So there is that. But I'm too scared to put myself in that kind of situation. So I usually sleep in school. And then if I'm sleeping in school, in that case, I just usually study to get tired. but I'm trying to think if it goes into like 4 or 5
Yeah,
a.m.
like I'm talking not like you
Like
couldn't fall asleep till
I'll
midnight or 1 or something,
Yeah.
but
if it goes into 4 or 5 a.m. I'm thinking about it, and I'll because if I'm laying there and I can't sleep, then I feel like I'm wasting time I could use
yeah,
to study.
It's true.
Like the best thing I could do at that point
cut your losses and study,
is
you're thinking?
either that or like watch like Netflix or something to like
Hmm.
take stress off. But you can't knock yourself out, and you're just stuck in a
Yeah.
shitty situation.
I kind of like anticipate not being able to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So I just try and at least be in bed and be trying to sleep like an hour earlier than I would be, and hopefully I just end up falling asleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming to do this semester is every night I'm going to go to bed a little bit earlier. So
Mhm.
maybe it's 9 or 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm already feeling tired because I'm used to going to bed at that hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if I don't sleep, I've got such a long buffer between
Right.
whenever I wake up and when the exam starts.
Yeah, so if you're trying to sleep at 9, but you don't end up falling asleep till 10:30, that's fine because that's the time that you would have wanted.
Yeah, you
to
aren't
fall
doing
asleep
the,
anyway.
okay, I have 6 hours until the exam and I've been in bed awake for 3 of those hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is ideal for sure. But I'll be the first to tell you I can't cope in that way. Like
Mhm.
the whole make sure you just the day before your exam just chill
Yeah.
and go to bed real
People say a lot of
nice and
things.
early and blah blah, and I'm like, listen, I never feel confident enough unless if I'm done studying the material and I'm just like, screw it, I'm
Mhm.
done.
Yeah, you're set. Like, you're good.
Otherwise, I don't know if I ever felt purely comfortable with an exam. Like I know everything that's gonna be on here.
Right.
I can't study anymore.
I think you're definitely like right, as in people say a lot of things about don't study the day before. It's like, look, if there's a concept that's going to be on the exam and I don't know it, I can learn it in half hour.
Yeah.
Like even an hour before the exam.
Yeah.
Like it's not like there's no point, like psychology says I won't be able to retain this information. It's like,
That's
no,
just not.
if I look at it for 5 minutes and I remember it for the exam, like it could save me. There's no.
Yeah, that exactly. Like there's so many, well, not too much, but a bunch of times that I'm just like, okay, I didn't have enough time for blah blah. But then I look, like right before the exam, I'm looking
Mhm.
through stuff and just hoping it comes up. And it's the first time I'm seeing it, and it does, and I do well because of it.
You took that extra
So-
just before.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm definitely my way works for me,
Hmm.
but I wouldn't advise anyone else to go the same route.
Well, do you think that you would agree, and probably it pertains to you, as this state-dependent memory, which means that our memory is better when we learn and retrieve information in similar bodily states? So if you're hitting the red reins hard,
Yeah.
you're a little overtired all
Uh-huh.
through your studying,
Uh-huh.
and then all of a sudden you want to basically, it's saying you should emulate that during the test because you'll be able to retrieve the same
I
information.
mean, that might make sense. That might make sense because that's pretty much my entire life doing exams, and I always go into exams, with my red rein and ready to go. So
Yeah, so it's good because you have the same
it's
bodily
definitely
state.
emulated, but I feel like there's a lot of advice, in my opinion, plays out. Isn't taken into consideration understanding the material, is what I think.
Hmm.
Where if you truly understand the material, like with Math 115 Calculus 2 that I'm doing right now, if you truly understand the material well before the exam, I don't think it matters what state or whatever that you're studying in
Yeah,
or
definitely
doing
not.
this in. Because when you see, 1 over 1 plus x squared, you just know it's inverse 10. You don't need to be in the right frame of mind, be in the this. You've done it so many times. You don't just memorize the concepts and blah blah. Because in this calculus class, there's so much
To know.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
much to know, so much to memorize. There's no formula sheets, no cheat sheets, and the difference between some substitutions are just a plus and minus.
Right.
And there's so much to know. And if you're doing all that stuff, the week before or whatnot, you probably need to use some techniques to make sure you're in the same frame of mind the whole time.
Right.
But if you've been doing all this stuff all semester, whether you're dead tired right before bed or bright awake, or you stumble into the exam, you just know.
Yeah, you're good.
That like sine 1 over sine is this, 1 over cosine is this. Like there's certain things in that way.
I think a good thing to look at too, especially during exam time, or if you have, let's say a wedding coming up or some kind of like positive stress, or as they call it, eustress, like childbirth or something like that, like a positive stress event coming up. You should try and limit the microstressors in your life. And microstressors are kind of everyday hassles. Like, you're stuck in traffic, you're going to be late for work, losing your keys, all that kind of everyday stuff. And actually, in culmination, those things can actually be really detrimental to your health, as the same as major stress events. But here are some of the top 6 psychological stressors. And some of these might come in a micro and macro form, but they are apparently money, which kind of makes sense. People worry about financials. The economy, which kind of struck me. I don't really think about the economy too much.
I guess like for your job prospects, if you're looking for a job and the economy's terrible, that might be something people stress about. But it's not a major.
I guess we're not fully adults yet, but with the whole crash of of the banks and the business and that, if you're working, you're putting your money in the bank, everything is on your debit and credit card.
Yeah.
Unless I guess it's less of an immediate stress.
I guess.
But it's definitely something on the back of your mind, like,
Because I've only thought about the economy when I'm looking for a job. But once you have a job,
exactly. Once your life or everything is.
Well, you're good. Like you were saying, the banks, like if they, fold like they did, and then you lose all your money.
And you're kind of all good and all okay until you start hearing some news. I feel like, is this a repeat of the housing thing? Is this? And you're like, whoa, wait, what's happening now?
I feel like you have to be really embedded in that community to like be thinking about that constantly and looking at it
constantly. Yeah,
because there's so much economic jargon that gets thrown around that confuses people that most people just kind of shut it out because they're like, I don't know what the hell this means.
Which honestly, like, you probably should, otherwise you'll be stressing for
maybe that's why people are so stressed, because they hear like housing bubble collapse and all of these
you don't even know what that means.
Bubble, like
what is that?
Good? Is that bad?
So I guess that kind of relates to the third one, which is work. Work kind of makes sense if you work in a deadline kind of based job and stuff like that. Family health problems, also obviously a big stressor. I mean, that's
terrible.
Totally not everyone, but when it does happen for someone, it can be a big one.
No,
right? Family responsibilities, I suppose, especially I guess if you're like a breadwinner,
and that's number 5. Hey,
that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's 5. I think there's actually more than 6 here.
All right, I have a theory here.
Okay, go on.
All of these stressors, and probably every single stressor that matters, they can all be solved if you're like a billionaire.
It's
is there
so true.
Any stress you get as
let's see. Money will be solved. Stress, but the economy, you are your own economy, so why do you care?
You're basically a country.
Like. Yeah. Work, well, you make incredible banks, so I mean, you probably enjoy it a ton. Like, I mean, there's probably still stress, but it's like...
But you have the option of, if it really is that stressful, you can just never work again and you're still fine. And everybody you know is still fine. And like,
that's true.
Your next 10 generations are like...
Family health problems, you can afford probably the best health care. I mean, it's so true. Being incredibly, in that top, 10% helps a lot with these family responsibilities.
But I feel like it's a different level of stress, which is why I feel like there are 2 people who could, like get a a stress pass and most of these things. One being a billionaire, like you mentioned, and one be it is sociopath that doesn't care about other people at all.
Yeah, but they still get stressed about things affecting them, right?
Like if they're gonna get caught murdering all those people.
But it's like if you don't care about your family, you don't care about your job.
I don't really know what a
sociopath.
Can you look up what a sociopath
I think
actually
it's
is?
they don't feel empathy, so they don't care about other people. But here's what I'm thinking. Let's say I'm a sociopath and I'm living with other people, right?
Mandy's gonna love this. Love this. Love
Finally, he gives into it.
Oh, this is a confession tape. Cops are here.
Keep going.
No, but if I'm a sociopath and my family gets hit by a bus or something, I feel like I'd still feel stressed because now I have to find money because maybe they were providing money for them, or now I got to do all of this paperwork and stuff. I don't care that they've died, but now I gotta arrange funerals.
But if you were providing for them, then now it's less people to provide for.
I guess true.
So I guess the definition for sociopath here is a person with a psychopathic personality whose behavior is antisocial, often criminal, and who lacks a sense of moral responsibility and social conscience. So yeah, it like basically lacks all empathy for anyone.
Yeah,
because
but
sorry, go ahead.
Just like if you're about to get caught for something, yeah, you would probably be a bit stressed.
I mean, okay, just forgetting the sociopath thing for a second. With the rich billionaire thing, I feel like the stress is just a different type and with more risk attached. Yes, you're not worrying about micro things, but if I lose my job,
right,
that affects me, maybe my family in terms of me paying some bills here and there.
That's true.
If someone stupid rich makes the same mistake and loses a good amount of money,
still affect them.
That affects them, their family, the friends mooching off of them, their dad's sister's cousin or something who knows you as, the rich, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There's just, I feel like the bigger you get, again, unless if you...
The more people that you're carrying in that basket on the way up with.
Like, unless if you're both, if you're rich and
a sociopath.
Don't care.
There you go.
A rich sociopath.
But for the most part, like with work, not you working, but you have to get people you trust there.
Yeah, true. That's a whole nother level.
Like you don't want Rihanna's accountant handling your
you want like
your money.
It's true though. That's a good point. Like when you're in a certain level of a company, you have to worry about different things.
Yeah.
Like investors and making sure the shares are all good and this and that. You're not really worried if everyone's getting their mail or anything like that. But I think even Joe Rogan said when he was talking one episode, he said when he made a ton of money, he was like, I just didn't have to worry about money. It was amazing. I felt amazing
to finally not have to like get triggered about bills.
Yeah.
Because he just knew it was covered for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, like, micro stresses are settled. But of course, like Joe can't just decide to do certain things anymore because there's a lot more responsibility with the wife and kids and
that's true.
And friends and upcoming comics and UFC people and blah blah,
And then there's some of the last three for the top 6. These are all psychological stressors, which I think is kind of interesting. It's not. I think it's because also the fight or flight mechanism and predator and prey. Those are all technically stressors as well, but they're kind of physical threats and whatnot. But these are all psychological. They're in your head. They're kind of made up. They don't have to be a stressor. You make it a stressor. Which I think is an important distinction to make.
Like an ex-girlfriend.
I guess if you're worrying about, if she's, well, no, it could be environmental. If she's trying to attack you, that could totally be physical. So we have time pressures totally apply to everyone.
Yeah.
Whether they have $1 to their name or 1 billion.
Yeah, like everyone.
Inner concerns. I'm not really too sure. Maybe my psychology notes just suck, or I don't know. I don't know. Inner concerns. Maybe.
Is it like a spirituality thing?
I think it's kind of maybe self-esteem, self-consciousness, maybe something along those lines. Could be spirituality if you're having some kind of a question of faith or something like that. And then the last one is future security, which might play into a bunch of those things. What's going to happen to you? What career are you going to do? Are you going to graduate from college? Or are you just going to say, screw it, I'm going to just
with everyone,
buy a Popeyes franchise?
There's definitely an element of stress. And again, we're all headed towards death. So even if you got rid of all the other stressors and you were good and balling, it's like, well, you're not gonna live forever, so that thought's gonna be there too. I feel like stress is just inevitable, but
it is.
When you're in control, like Pete said, you'll feel, and I feel like that's what Joe was describing on his podcast.
Really?
Was he felt in control of all his bills, and like with the old billionaire analogy, if he has all of that, but he feels in control of everything. He's confident, his grandkids and kids and kids are paid for. And he's in control. He has his best friend running his company. Then there's probably just no stress and all the fun in the world.
It's true.
So as long as you're in control, I guess you're balling.
So I have pulled up here the most 10 stressful jobs of 2016.
The most 10?
The most 10 stressful.
The most 10. They didn't really word that properly. Or the 10 most stressful. Sorry, I just read it wrong. The 10 most stressful jobs of 2016, according to CareerCast, or someone at careercast.com. Right. Firefighter.
I can see it.
Really?
Yes.
Because they just hang out most of the day.
Yeah, but when you no one cares when you're hanging out. Everyone cares when you don't rescue the cat from the building.
You know what I found out? Firefighters are only paid what is it, 40 to 50 grand?
Yeah, it just said here. Hold on, it said median salary is $46K.
That's so low.
That's so low
for a firefighter.
That's so true.
For the people, man.
What happens if I don't know if this ever happens, and I'm not saying firefighter do this, but is this a good path to go down?
How do you
go on? You're already in it.
All right, so
you're an oak tree. Explain yourself.
All right, so let's say they're only making that much money.
Okay.
And they go up to this house, and it's a really bad situation. It's just terrifying. There's
people are already on fire.
Yeah,
they're already on fire.
What if they say? Not all of them. What if, let's say, there's one person,
a psychopath,
sure, who says, "I'm not getting paid enough to walk into this house and rescue these people."
That's the thing. It's ultimately the call of the captain, right? And I say this from a Tyler Perry show I watched on Peachtree TV about 7 years ago. But it's in this TV show. It was on the call of you don't just get on site and run in.
Okay.
And every life I'm to say, it's the situation has to be assessed. It's do we pour some water in first?
Identify what kind of fire it is.
Exactly, because if you run in and you're on the top floor, but then the ground is too weak and someone could have told you that and then you fall through.
Right.
Both the person you're trying to save, and the person and you yourself are now dead.
Or doesn't do them any good to have more people die.
Or if you're supposed to go in with some kind of rope or something should be set up for your safety. They don't just running heads on. But if the captain says go, and then the firefighter, very soon to be ex-firefighter, says no.
Says I don't think so. That dude's rolling in gasoline. He's already dead.
Then that's it.
Well done. Yeah, I'm good.
I feel just with those types of jobs, you have to whatever your captain says is kind of.
It's true, which kind of ties into the next one. Actually, this one actually has a stress rating. They gave it a 72.68. I don't know what that means.
Oh, it's like a spicy rating.
But we can at least compare it. So to tie in with the the commanding kind of you got to do it is enlisted military personnel is the next one, which makes sense.
I can't even begin to
imagine
say so, yeah. Stress.
I'm having PTSD of having PTSD. Like I couldn't even fathom.
I don't.
I've seen American Sniper. I don't want to do that stuff.
With that kind of stuff, I don't talk about it.
I got stressed watching Black Hawk Down. I don't know if I could actually.
It's true. Actually, sorry.
I feel like especially it probably. Okay, this could be ignorant or totally true.
Let us know.
But I feel like now with video games and stuff, it's if you're being honest with yourself, it's more stressful to think of going out there and doing all those same things, whereas in the 30s or 20s, like no one really knew what it was.
I'll be in the military.
It was heroic to like go in and do this stuff.
It'll be fun.
But then you're playing COD and
you look at it like, man, I don't want to actually do that.
You've used 10 lives in 2 minutes, and then you remember you have 1 life.
Yeah, dude.
And you don't get to restart.
That's actually a good argument for like video game violence stuff. It's like, no, it puts it in perspective that there's no fucking way I would ever want to do any of that ever.
But isn't there a phenomenon where all these kids are playing it and they say, I do want to join the military, and they're like, I don't know, not fit to be in the military?
Yeah, but
they really want to do it because of the video game.
I haven't heard that.
But if they do, right? So they're playing these games. For you to play a shooting game or whatever kind of game, and based on that want to join the military,
you're probably dumb.
I was gonna say you're probably really good at the game, right? In which case you have a rounded like idea of what it is, but not in real life.
They don't, man.
Like in video game.
Yeah.
But you also just can't jump into the military. You need to go through the training. Now, at a certain point in the training, it's inevitable that you will come to the realization by yourself
not the same.
That if I can't survive this, I feel like you almost draw a parallel where it's like, if I can't survive this, it's like me screwing up in rookie mode in this game. I've played so many video games. I know there's so much more. It gets so much worse. And now in real life, I can barely make it through this first stage. Nah. And you almost have a well-rounded like idea of where you are in the world of that stuff, as opposed to if you didn't play video games and you're like, oh, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Oh, it gets easier in the end. Oh, trust me, when you're a captain, it gets easier. Oh, it gets easier. I was like, no, I think you should probably go home and play some more video games.
Yeah.
And get a warm.
Like you said, the people who understand the realism and can make the connection that, yeah, I would never actually want to do this in real life. Yeah. And then there's those idiots who are like, I love this game. I'm going to be in the military. Yeah. It's like, go check it out.
I feel like that same realization will hit them. Yeah. But when they get to that point and it's like, whoa, okay, now I understand. And this is where I'm beyond a rookie in real life. Mm-hmm. I know that if I was playing on a group game and some rookie came and wanted to play on my team, I wouldn't even look at them. And then in the same, I just feel like you'll know your place better in life if you're kind of have the full picture, even if it's a non-realistic sense.
Right, and some people need a little bit of the real taste to understand it. I mean, that kind of plays into a while ago. I think it was maybe a year and a half ago now. Mm-hmm. We had when I was playing football, we had like a team bonding few days before the season would start.
Okay.
And my last year, we went to the Army garrison and did some Army training stuff. Oh, or it was, I don't know if it was my last year or the year before. Anyway, so we go there and we're learning how to clear rooms in teams of 2. So you got these guns that shoot blanks. Mm-hmm. You got a vest and some gear and stuff, and even still, kids are just to pull back to the video games thing, oh, I've seen this gun be reloaded on this game 14 times. I can't fucking reload an M16 to save my life. I'm so fucking slow. Like, you don't know how to do shit. Like, don't kid yourself. So we're like going through and they're showing us, the one guy goes in the front and he sweeps one way and checks corners, and then they have those like targets of like guys in there and stuff, and you'd shoot them with blanks, and then the other dude has his hand on your shoulder and he like sweeps the other corners, and you're going through and you're sweeping rooms. So when they're showing us this, they go and they do a demonstration. Guys are killers, man. Like, just ruthless. Like, so crazy. And then just when I thought it couldn't get any worse or better, depending how you look at it, he's like, yeah, when you shoot guys, some guys will try and play dead and then, try and shoot you with a pistol or something and roll over. Make sure, curb stomp them, slash the throat, make sure they're dead. And he's like, sometimes we'll go over to guys and just touch them and say cold, just so they're dead. And I was just like, and we're all standing there like, what the fuck? What are these guys saying? These guys have killed people.
Why did your coach think to take you to some...
It was set up by the players. Set up the captain's camp, which is what it's called. But goddamn, I was like,
that's intense.
This just got so real.
I gotta say, like, being a firefighter must really suck if that's above this on the list.
Man, they have a higher stress rating for firefighter than military. This one's only 64, and the overall rating, oddly enough, is 666. Does that have anything to play with? I don't know. Maybe.
How much training though goes into...
Depends what unit you're in.
Being a firefighter.
Oh, a firefighter? It's really hard to become one. It's really hard. I know a lot of people have tried for a long time.
I imagine it is, but is it maybe... I was going to say maybe with the military one is less stressful because...
They're more prepared?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're more prepared.
But I don't know. I would hope firefighters get trained
that's
a whole bunch.
That's such an ignorant thing for me to say, though. So
okay, let's rip through the rest of these. So they also made the same amount of money, the military one. Okay. Military general is the next stressful.
Seems
with
stressful.
A salary of $205,000.
Yeah, it's
more stressful. Or less has a lower rating.
But you do get a lot more money.
But you have to make some big decisions, and people die from your decisions.
That's true.
That makes sense. You have wide consequences for things you say.
Yeah.
Airline pilot also makes sense. $118K, a little more than I figured. I thought it'd be kind of less, but I guess not. I guess it depends what airliner you're for. Mm-hmm. If you're with United, you're not making any money anymore. Sorry. Police officer at number 5. Median salary $59K.
Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, you're reminding me of airline pilots. I have a strange complaint. So pilots, they have to. I'm kind of sidetracking this whole thing.
Go on.
They have very strict regulations on what you have to do when you're a pilot. Like you can only fly so many hours at a time, and you have to do all of that sort of stuff because you're flying a plane full of people. They don't want a tired pilot crashing somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for doctors and nurses and all of those kind of emergency care people, they have nothing like that. Yeah. Or nothing anywhere close to the same level, even though they're saving just as many lives.
It's true.
Like how many 18-hour shifts? Can you imagine 18 hours of just constantly going at it?
No
in
way.
Like surgery or something, and there's nothing there for that.
I thought they had actually I think that's just for EMT. If something really messed up happens on your shift, you get an automatic 2-week leave or some shit like that.
Well, yeah, but that's like saying, well, if your plane almost crashed, then we'll give you some time off. You know what I mean? It's not.
They don't want that to even be a scenario.
There should be. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Where it's you shouldn't. Is the next one?
You're not gonna like this next one. It's so dumb. Event coordinator. Get over yourself. What?
If you're coordinating the
Olympics,
a
gala
maybe?
Or something. This looks like some kind of shock conference thing.
Oh, a wedding or something
yeah, just an event coordinator.
That is stressful. And I
guess.
And wait, let's finish what we're just talking about. What were we just talking about?
Event coordinator.
No, we're before that.
I don't remember.
Pilots, doctors.
Right, pilots and doctors. With the doctors, I feel like it would make sense for them to have some sort of limit or you can't do this many shifts or surgeries in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But they make a lot of money. I'm wondering do they make a lot of money because of how long their shifts are?
Who?
Doctors.
No, dude, because of what it like. They're smart fucking people.
Well, yeah.
For what
but-
they know and their expertise,
Yeah.
it's why they get paid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
so-
do the hour,
so-
like if you took their salary and divided it by the hours they work,
Yeah.
it's not that high relative to say.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah, because I'm guessing, their doctors will be like, well, if I'm gonna be making less, screw it. Like I want to work 12 hours.
I guess.
But
depends what kind of doctor you are.
if they could keep their pay, like if they had set pace
I think they do.
based on expertise, like you say, but they got to take less time.
Hmm.
I feel like, they're just yeah, like you're totally right. It's lives at stake. Like I guess I'm saying like so many times. I guess you could do it based on what kind of doctor you are.
Mhm.
Where if you're
Like if you're an ER
if it's not-
doctor,
yeah, like if
you're
it's
gonna be
life
working a
or-
lot, Jack.
or
Sorry.
death, yeah, you'll be working a lot. But if not, if you're just
A children's
fixing-
optometrist or something.
or
or a
well,
dentist,
I was gonna say maybe the baby delivery person, but
Oh, I don't know. That seems kind of.
but then I thought about it as like, there's a lot of people giving birth. Like you might actually work
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
and labor is fucking long,
Yeah.
depending on the person, obviously.
Yeah. Wasn't Cosby a baby doctor
He was a rapist, actually.
on
So
the show? Okay,
I know they're easy to confuse.
Wait, he
but,
was he was a therapist.
Who?
Cosby
I think so.
I never watched the show.
Oh, wait, what show? He was on a lot
The
of shows.
Cosby
on
show.
the Cosby Show.
I didn't watch it.
I've
That's
never
too
seen it.
old. This is before my time. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I just heard you say he was a therapist.
Oh, really?
It's
Yeah.
similar to what he said
Oh, maybe
in terms of
no rapist.
words.
Sorry. Okay, newspaper reporter. Stressful? Question mark?
If you're like
I'll dispute that.
hunting down the mob or something.
I mean, I guess it's only as stressful as you make it. Like I'm just like military, firefighter, police officer, news reporter. I don't know.
I am down for all those, including, by the way, event coordinator, which we blew past. Just because with it, like firefighter, is just like you just said. There's so much hype with being that.
Yeah.
But as an event coordinator, like you're not guaranteed anything.
Yeah.
You get one shot to throw a wedding for Brad Pitt, and you mess it up, and you're done.
That's true.
You have to become a
Yeah, I
elementary
guess
school
who would ever hire you as
teacher
a
or
coordinator
something.
again?
Yeah. And there's like those are longer stress periods, whereas firefighters and police officers deal with acute stress
Exactly.
situations.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, the plates we want from China aren't coming in anymore. But
Your-
that's what Brad wants. And it's
Your
like,
weeks are just ruined.
that's
You're on walking
Better
on pins
figure
and
it out.
needles
Yeah.
until they come.
exactly.
Number 8 is corporate executive.
I
I
could
guess
see it, yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
You have a lot of responsibility and company and that provides for people. Public relations executive.
I could
Oh
see
yeah,
that too.
PR is especially.
Can you
in
imagine like Sean
2017.
Spicer? How stresses he all the time?
Is he for Trump? Is that
Yeah, the
Oh,
press secretary.
Yeah.
He's probably on suicide watch. Like he probably
Like
hates
you
his life.
have, Kendall Jenner's PR team probably got a little
100%.
cut in their salary.
Number 10, taxi driver.
Hmm.
Really? Because I see a lot of those guys parked in parking lots just taking personals.
But they're not making money.
Well, they're making $23K according to this.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if you're just parked there not doing anything.
Wait, a year?
Yeah.
Salary, median salary is
Because
23.
it is stressful driving.
You think?
Driving for that much?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I
the
was
longer
thinking
you
like
drive,
you
the
just
more
let
money you
random people
make.
into your car. They
I
could
guess.
just stab you in the neck or something.
Yeah, like there's that. There's just obviously that's a picture I think of a cab in New York or something.
Yeah.
That's just issues in itself. And then if anything goes wrong, chances are you're on your own. You're not like protected by
Mhm.
some blah 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 and then there's people just jaywalking. Like it's just, I just feel like driving is stressful as it is. And add that to be a professional, cabbie.
Professional cabbie.
I was gonna say professional driver, but that sounded like a race car.
There's
driver.
definitely peripheral things that are out of control that you can't really do anything about that will stress you out. But there's some peripheral things that you could put in place to help you cope with stress, just like music. And we do have a article here that we can pull up. I think it's the second one. Yeah, you got it. And basically, this is top 10 tips how to choose your music for studying.
I feel like I might not agree with most of
and
these.
This is good. We shouldn't take these as the gospel. Critical thinking here. Refute this as you will. And Tola will look to you for
Trust me.
First one, classical music is peaceful and harmonious, making it one of the best options to listen to when studying.
Let's just go through all the tips before we start ripping these apart.
Okay. Number 2, it seems that there's evidence that Mozart improves mental performance. They call it the Mozart effect. Actually, it wasn't mental performance. It's actually spatial task only, and that was shown with young children. So that's actually might not actually be true. Only with spatial tasks.
Well, they also said might maybe be...
Might possibly...
This doesn't seem like a very scientific...
It's just misleading. It just says mental performance, but it's actually only shown for spatial tasks. Yeah, so that's misleading.
And it does seem very similar to tip number 1, which is listen to classical music, because there's no way Mozart specifically, his music makes you better at any sort of mental performance any more than any other classical.
It has a name, though, so it has to be true. It's the Mozart effect.
But it definitely, especially if you're someone that doesn't listen to classical music, it's all going to sound the same to you, right? Number 3 is listen to ambient instrumental music. This type of music is more modern than classical and has a similar effect. I always find that movie soundtracks are quite good.
Who is this? Who said I?
I don't know.
I would actually...
Yes.
I would
agree with this.
Agree with the
I don't know if it's scientifically better, but...
Yes, that whole...
I'll throw on the soundtrack to The Fellowship of the Ring and do math all day.
Dude, I have never been into soundtracks, but Tidal has some movie soundtrack channels. And playlists, and I play them, and I'm like, yo, this is nice.
I have the soundtrack to a Tron Legacy, and the soundtrack was done by Daft Punk. And it's so good. It's so good.
Hello.
Tip number 4, listen to sound... I already hate this. Listen to sounds of nature, such as rain, waves, jungles, or animals while studying. While this is not exactly music, it is relaxing, and you'll feel like you're in another world.
Continue. Just
I don't know. Tip number 5. This is number 5. You're studying, not crashing a rave. Listen to your study music at a moderate volume.
Fair.
The lower the better. The louder it is, the more it will distract you. I actually agree with that. That makes sense. Number 6. Create a playlist with all your favorite songs in advance to avoid having to search for new songs every 5 minutes. Definitely a good tip. Definitely a good one. Number 7. Do not listen to music on the radio when studying. The dialogue of the presenters and ads will distract you. I would
also bang on.
I would agree with that.
The list is slowly getting a bit more better.
Yeah. They're definitely going in the right direction right now. Number 8, make a playlist that lasts for 40 to 50 minutes. When the playlist ends, this will act as a reminder to take a short study break. I like that.
That's a very good one. I never thought of.
Me neither. I might have to try that. Number 9 is listen to music before you go to bed or before an exam. This will make you feel relaxed and put you in the right state of mind.
If you're a hippie, yeah.
I mean, maybe. If you like to transcend body, mind, and spirit, I suppose. That's definitely subjective to who you are. And number 10, while choosing the best music for studying is important, you should avoid spending hours selecting the songs. At the end of the day, what matters is not choosing the best music in the world, but that your study is productive. So that tip number 10 just said this whole list was for nothing. You don't actually need music. Just make sure you can study well.
Yeah, don't spend too long. Well, for me personally, I don't have study playlists.
Right.
Just because it's, 2017 and there is the internet. There is YouTube. I personally like my personal favorite, which I recommend for anyone and everyone,
is Ebb and Flow, specifically the Beats by Tolutami.
Apart from that, Chill Hop Cafe.
Chill Hop?
Chill Hop Cafe.
How do you spell that? Like
CHILLHOP.
Is that like a YouTube?
Cafe.
That's the YouTube channel.
It's the 24/7, just nice, like chill, but also kind of a little bit of like funky, hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like super
jazzy.
lo-fi, like hip hop beats normally.
Yeah, just
Okay.
super
without
chill.
any vocals.
No
and
vocals,
just
exactly.
surprisingly good for
And
studying.
it's perfect. And I don't have to think about it. If I need music, I just go on there. It's 24/7. It's always on. There are many playlists like that if you want something more jazzy, more classical. It saves you, you'll find what you want in 5 minutes tops.
Yeah.
If you're being picky.
That's on
And
YouTube?
just on YouTube, just 24-hour things.
Interesting.
And then I guess I'll let you guys say all the tips, and then I'll say the rest
best
of
you
mine.
go ahead.
Tips for...
Or do you have any sort of music you listen to in your...
Honestly, for me, it's just whatever. I listen to a lot of different types of music. So whatever music I'm just feeling for, I'm fiending for, because I really, when I'm like, oh, I need to listen to that song, I have to, right? So sometimes, sometimes when we're in Cameron Library studying, all you hear is Iron Maiden just blasting through my headphones, and I just let it ride. Like I go and I select the album, and it just has all the songs, and I just blast, Judas Priest, Metallica, Iron Maiden, and then sometimes I'll hit up that Nipsey Hussle playlist, and I'll just let all those things play. It's kind of for me, it's whatever I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And it's important though that I get those like either really long videos or those playlists, so I don't have to dick around finding new songs.
Yeah. I have 2 categories of music I use. One is like when you're listening to things, and the other is when you're putting out things. So I'll explain what I mean. Like when I'm not listening to things, like taking things in.
Okay, yeah.
So if I'm reading a textbook or something, I want that like ambient focus music, the super low key stuff.
Right, because you're kind of trying to speak in your head as you read.
Yeah, because if somebody's like rapping lyrics to you, you're listening to them say words, and you're also reading words on the paper. It's 2 things that you're listening to at once.
Right.
But if I'm actually putting out something, if I'm writing, if I'm doing a math equation, if I'm doing code, anything where I'm not taking in stuff, I'm putting out stuff, then I want the Iron Maiden type stuff that you listen to. Like I'll put on some aggressive hip hop album.
And
that's
that
interesting.
Is
I like
pretty
that.
bang on, where if you are the whole thing with not listening to songs with lyrics when you're studying is because of the whole, taking stuff in. But one thing that I think it was C that told me, going even deeper into what you said, Pete, is with songs so where you can actually write essays or that kind of stuff to very familiar songs. Like if you just put on Kanye's College Dropout or Graduation, just low volume in the background, it's not new information to you. It's not new stimulus.
It's easier to ignore.
Easy to block out. Whereas if you put on the new Kendrick album, first of all, that's disrespectful because you should be paying full attention.
100% of your
I
attention
haven't listened
should
to it.
No, that is fine. Do it when you have attention.
No,
Don't
it is
do it
not fine.
It's
Do it
not
right
fine,
now.
but
Total, put the podcast on hold.
we're gonna pause the podcast so I can listen to the album right now.
Do I need to be educated?
You do need to be educated, but yeah. So you need to be able to, balance that. And the other thing I was going to say, which I guess is skipping my mind now, with studying the music. If I remember it all.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
So we've kind of talked about stress, what stress kind of means to us, different ways that stress manifests in our lives. And I think a really common reoccurring theme is that sometimes how big the stressor is definitely how big you make it in your own minds, definitely. So to be able to Did you remember?
Yes.
You did. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So, and then with waves and jungle sounds
Mm-hmm.
and bird sounds, when stuff is too calm, I fall asleep.
Oh,
I
I
just
see.
feel tired and sleepy. The reason I stopped listening to classical, even though that was what, you should listen to classical when you're studying. Okay. I listened to stuff that I'd never listened to before. The reason I prefer this chill hop stuff is like, it's the kind of music I listen to anyway, just really simplified.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm processing that in my brain, it's still keeping my brain a little bit, active, like dum dum tka, dum 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 tka,
Gotcha.
as opposed to just
Yeah,
which
it's like
I
you're not used to
never,
it,
yeah,
so then
like
you're
I
more
never,
you're more gonna actually listen to it because you're like, what is this?
yeah.
Like, what am
And
I
even
listening
if
to?
you don't, it's just kind of background, and you might as well have nothing there, or you
That's
just
true.
fall asleep.
Yeah.
So there is that, and then the other thing is when it depends on who you are and how you like to study. But most of the courses I take in university, just like you guys, is stuff that you have to put stuff out,
Put stuff out, yeah.
not be
I think that
taking
was.
stuff like with coding and math and blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And with that stuff, man, I need sound, I need chaos, especially when I'm starting to feel tired.
Mm-hmm.
There are nights I'm studying with C in UX, and we just put on a random video of people talking.
Oh, really?
Just completely random. Like we don't know the context. There's some funny things we'll be like here. He'll go to like chat rooms and just turn it on, and I just see people talking in the background.
Wait,
If we're done with like music, just because we both, there are things we need to do in quiet and peace, but things
Right.
like coding and sometimes with math, there just needs to be stuff going on.
Right.
Just like you just feel like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing
Yeah,
this, we're
absolutely.
doing this.
So to help our listeners downplay the stressor of upcoming exams, we have some links here to look at worst exam. They call them howlers of all time, but I think that just means answers. So we got a couple links. We got some. Yeah, I don't know. They're funny. It's a howler.
Yeah.
Daily
Howlers
Mail,
is-
so maybe it's a British
funny.
thing.
This is so we got. Oh, this is from the Washington Post, is it not?
No.
Oh,
or
the
this-
Telegraph.
Telegraph. That's
Oh no, the other link was Washington Post.
How did
Sorry.
you both
So we're
get
gonna look
that
at
on?
worst exam questions. I think we have some funny exam answers and some other ones to help lighten the mood about exams. So let's go. Do you see?
these are all just jokes about.
I
like
think
Testo.
you were on the right on the right one. You were on the right link. Funny.
Where-
Oh, this might be good. I'll read this first one. This is a good one. So these are funny test questions, and I think we can all agree that we hope we get some of these in our exam. So the first one says, a pair of spectacles are dropped from a 32-meter high stadium. A pen is dropped 2 seconds later. Draw a dinosaur wearing spectacles and holding a pen. Disregard air resistance. You must show your work in order to get credit for this problem. And this person literally just drew that. 100%. Mental break time. This is your last regular and in brackets non-final test of the year. You deserve an easy question. What is 1 + 1? Answer A is not this one. Answer B is still not this one. Answer C is 2, and answer D is you've gone too far. Go back to C.
I wish.
Can
I've
we-
gotten some of these before.
Really?
Have
Like
you?
that type of question, or like, what is your favorite course of the semester? And it's going to be like 4 random courses and the one you're actually taking the exam for.
I wish. I wish. The closest thing was like it was like a psychology question, but they just used like characters from Futurama to like parody in it, but it was still like a legit question.
It's psychology though, so you're like, are you messing with me right now?
I feel like that's totally true. Oh my god. Totally want to read this one.
No, move on.
Justin Bieber is thrown horizontally at 10 meters per second from the top of a cliff at 122.5 meters high. How long does it take to reach the ground? What is the horizontal? This is an actual question. This is like what I'm saying.
Up question.
I like-
It's just like using a weird, funny kind
Like how the
of.
person just didn't answer the question. They're like,
No.
nope, Justin is not getting thrown anywhere.
What is this? Kazakhstan. What? Kazakhstan is home to many nice people, including Borat. First person to stand and in your best Borat voice say, "I am Borat. I like you." Very nice. Will receive a bonus point. Oh, that's so good.
So hilarious.
Oh, I wish. That'd be so good.
I feel like this is more high school questions though than
I feel so.
Than in university.
We have another link here that's some answers to test questions that are 100% wrong, but yet are 100% right at the same time.
That's fair.
So this first one seems to be a young child, just by the writing.
Mm-hmm.
We have how many days are in a week? They answer correctly with 7. How many months are in a year? They
12.
answer correctly with 12. Is this number even or odd? And they're asking about the number 68. They answer. It's even.
Even, yeah.
And then the next one is how do you know? And they so valiantly answered because I'm smart.
I like how
they got marked wrong.
He tried to answer it with something else.
And erased it and went like,
nah,
I'm smart. What is this one? This is there's like a red square to show adding to adding to. So you're going to show some kind of draw a red square to show adding. And then what is this? Write the sum in the blue part. 3 ladybugs and 4 more ladybugs. And he writes it fine. So he draws 3 ladybugs and then a big line. And then 4 ladybugs on the other side and shows the addition to 7.
Yeah.
And then the other side is 4 seals and 2 more seals. And I wish our viewers could see this, but they just look like a bunch of dicks. Just adding up dicks. I love this one. Briefly explain what hard water is. Ice.
That's the briefest explanation.
But it's not wrong, you know? It's not. Oh my goodness. What are these?
There's so many of them.
Let's pull up on one. I need to that one's not even a question. Oh wait, go back. This question is I think my mom should do less of this. And this child wrote drink wine. That is awful. E is.
Oh nope.
What? These are all by young children, by the way. This is very aggressive. Let's stop in another one. I feel like we can get another good one out of this. First cells.
The first cells were probably
lonely.
That's fair.
That's not even wrong.
Find X.
Oh, I've seen that many times. You just draw a circle. There it is. To change centimeters to meters, take out centi?
Yeah.
These are totally like...
Those are all kids things.
It's
just
true.
Smart ass. Oh, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
I love these. We're going to post this link in the description of our YouTube posting of this video or this episode. So, what is this? By Peter.
Ooh.
Young Peter answered this. Oh god. It says expand a plus b to n, and a plus b is in brackets, and then it's raised to the exponent n. And then they basically rewrite it, and the a and b are just getting farther and farther apart.
And then the teacher writes, "Very funny, Peter."
That is amazing.
Big X.
That's probably the best one. I love it. We're going to post this link on our YouTube posting so you guys can check these out. These are 41 answers to tests that are totally wrong but still genius. And I think a lot of people, this will help them lighten the stress of exams coming up. Make light of the stressor, if you will.
If you don't make the same mistakes as these people, yeah.
Yeah,
otherwise you'll start stressing.
We all hope we get some of those questions that we saw in the previous...
Just think of all your profs right now. Which of them do you think will give you that kind of question?
This psychology, I feel like I could probably snag a couple maybe one, like a bonus question.
Okay.
I feel like it's possible.
What if it's like, stand up and,
No.
Like, I could see them giving actual bad questions, just not bad in this kind of way.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Just terrible questions.
I don't think I'd do that Borat one. I don't think I can do
Dog,
it.
if it's in math 115, I would, man. I need.
That's true. Depends on the class.
There's some classes that, listen, if you tell me to crawl to the front and I get bonus marks, your boy is doing it, man. No shame about it.
Okay, so to wrap things up, well, I'll kind of wrap up the episode, but don't let me forget about the outro song this time because I keep forgetting about that. Do you know what it is this week?
Do I know? No.
From Ebb and Flow. So
I
don't worry
know.
about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it because I'm taking the week and I think next week off for exams.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I tried to. I was like, I might get something going. I might, and then I went for that Math 115 review session for 4 hours.
Gotcha.
And just
made you realize how much you don't
sit
know.
down, be humble. Sit down, be humble.
Yeah.
Was all I heard the whole time she was talking. It's just sit down, be humble. So.
Okay, so if you're listening to this, good luck if you have exams coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We are just remember that the stressor is only as big as you make it in your mind. These are all psychological stressors. You're gonna be fine.
And even if you like fail that exam or whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
So what?
It's
That
true.
is
One of the
so not true.
it's-
And
okay,
you
well,
saying
like-
that
no, it's
just
true because
triggered me so hard.
some of the articles I've read, they say look at the grand scheme of things, and they said if you fail that test, it's probably not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. Like you're gonna be fine.
Like it's a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal as some people worry about.
Yes.
Some people, not all of them, not all firefighters are not going to rescue you, and not all tests are. It's okay.
It's all right. Relax. And if you're not a student, but
that
you're
just
still
stressed me out. By the way.
no, you're
Activity
fine.
of service.
This is psychological. If you're not a student and you're feeling stressed out, take the time out of your day, listen to some Mozart, as they say. Take time out of your day to do things that you enjoy and give yourself the breaks.
Yeah.
And it makes a world of a difference.
One of the first points you had about do you face the problem,
Right.
or do you? There was a second one, and then
There's the problem focused coping,
Uh-huh.
the emotional focused coping.
And
So maybe
then
some people,
the social one.
the seek social.
Yeah,
If
so-
you have a chronic stressor or problem,
Mhm.
you might want to use the emotional, kind of prepare yourself to deal with it.
Yeah. Instead of putting it off and being like, no, it doesn't exist, and then when it comes, it just crashes you. But the one I was going to talk about is the social one, because I use that all the time.
Yeah.
I need that.
Even just being around people that are
Doing
studying
the
or
same things, yeah.
doing the same
like
thing.
I am very big
Oh
on.
yeah, that's a sorry.
Yeah,
Keep
like
going.
I'm very big on the whole social thing. Even when I'm done exams, I'm looking forward to being able to just take a breather with all my friends.
Yeah.
When I'm doing exams, if I really need to get something done, then I could go towards the first one, which is the problem focused one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like with exams and deadlines and things like that, I'm probably more problem focused.
Yeah.
But with things that are a little bit more relaxed, it definitely helps to just be with friends, make music, play ball, do whatever.
Absolutely.
Just de-stress.
Yeah, everybody's going through it, not just.
Yeah, it's true. You're not you're not alone in the struggle. So thanks for tuning in. Just a reminder, we do have a poll on Facebook where you guys can rank and let us know what you want to see more from us, what kind of content, episode formats, if you want to see more interviews, live streams and stuff like that. We got a couple ideas in the works that we're going to do over the summer. And also we have now a crowdfunding page that you can get to. The post is on Facebook.
Yep.
So share, and you guys.
And we have like over 100 likes, right? Or
we
just
do.
about 100.
We
on
have over
Facebook
100
now?
likes now, so thank you to all of you who have liked and followed us on Facebook. Again, hit us up with some reviews on iTunes, and again, the crowdfunding. All of that is going to go towards helping us pay for our rentals and our equipment and bring better content for you guys in the future.
True.
That
It'll
is
help
all.
us distress.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So we will, help us de-stress. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys later.
This is usually where the music starts, But just go listen to that Kendrick album, okay? Just.
I'm not gonna listen to it despite you.
All right. Well, I am gonna cut that.